Hello everyone, this video is not sponsored. This is a set of 4 Sembo brand cars, S-E-M-B-O, that I bought from barweir.com. Altogether, the 4 of these go for about $60 US shipped to the US. However, I did pay less than that because I did an order that had multiple things, and when you combine shipping, you tend to save a lot that way. I'm going to go through these one by one. First things first, these are not licensed vehicles, so this is not technically a Nissan Skyline GTR, and it's also not from Fast and Furious, but I mean, it isn't it though? 8-stud wide design there. You see just a little bit larger than this brand over here. Very different approach to the build. And each of the cars actually had a different approach to it. They didn't seem entirely similar. 2 of them are somewhat similar in the types of parts that they use, and I'll highlight some of the special pieces, some of the really interesting pieces that Sembo has in their part inventory, that some of which I've personally never seen before from any company. And I will point out that most of the decorations, not all, but the vast majority of the decorations are done with stickers that you see all throughout here. So there's a large sticker sheet for each of the cars. If that bugs you, so be it. I completely understand, but that is something that is the case here, you like it or not. The sticker quality is okay. The match of color is okay. Like the gray is decent. The blues are pretty close to one another. At least I just didn't have a whole lot of problem with that. But it is a lot of stickers. And interestingly, most of them do go mostly edge to edge to, right where they go right to the ends of pieces. So that did make it nice to be able to keep the gaps real tight, everything close together. So overall, the end result was pretty good, with the print for this windscreen right here being one of the worst quality items that I encountered in this set of 4 different cars, because obviously that is a different color of gray, right? It's a darker gray. So that was a little bit of a disappointment there. But otherwise, most of this particular car right here turned out pretty well. This was not one of the more complex ones to assemble, not one of the more complex ones to put together. Each of these has a simple, kind of specialized chassis piece in the center of it. They have just a single seat that is centered. Unfortunately, for these, it's just kind of a baseline that they decided to go for. The struts for the GT wing back here are printed pieces, printed on both sides there. But again, just about everything else that looks like a decoration is done with stickers. Nice bright colors for the prints for the paint for the wheel inserts there. Again, like I said, just all the gaps are pretty good. The angles are pretty nice, and I will say that the front end of this looks excellent to me personally. You can see one of their interesting pieces right here, not the most interesting of the parts, and you'll see some more different things that might throw you off if you've not seen anything from this company in particular. They've got some nice shapes of tiles that are very useful. That definitely worked out well. You can see multiple colors of gray here. That is actually intentional. And you'll see that more on some of the other cars, especially the next one that I'm going to show you, where they actually use highlights and shading in the designs of their stickers to kind of suggest more shape than is actually there. Just quickly taking a look at the inside. This is not impressive. Again, single seat, centered position. And yeah, technically you can put a figure in there, but no figures are included with these. And there's no connection. So he's just kind of sliding around in there. I mean, fortunately, he does kind of have a nice little resting area in there. So it's not easy for him to come out. And at least he doesn't have to lean way back. He doesn't have to be lying down. So that's actually a pretty decent look. He's just kind of sitting low in the cabin. But yeah, it's unfortunate that there's only one seat. I know a lot of people like to see 2, even though these cars are definitely not minifig scale. Once you get to 8 studs wide, you can get a good looking thing, but relative to the size of minifigures, these are absolutely huge. This totally not Camaro was actually the first of the 4 that I built. It has one problem with some of the piece. Well, two problems. Once again, the print for the A pillar here on the windscreen, not good, right? It's too dark. It doesn't bother me too much from a distance, but definitely it's something that should be called out as, incorrect and something that could have been done better. The other thing that bugged me with this is that there are some parts that are kind of dirty, a little bit scuffed, literally physically scuffed, or a little bit dirty, and I just intentionally did not clean those up. Just take a little isopropyl alcohol on a cotton swab, cleans right up, but I didn't want to hide that from you, just something that you might encounter. The build of this one was fantastic. So many pieces that I'd never seen before. I was really, really happy to see. Like, they've got a half brick. This is half the height of a brick. So it is 1/2 the height of a plate, higher than a plate. It's 1.5 plates. It's just really cool. Some of the pieces that they have in here, some of the slopes, some of the curved and wedge pieces, notched pieces. Some of the stickers are over multiple pieces, so if that bugs you, hopefully you can just rip the bandage off right there. If that bugs you too much, all good. No need to continue to watch the video if it causes you physical pain. I don't want that for anybody, but I personally don't have a problem with it, knowing that these are display models. And for the overwhelming majority of brick builders in the world, these things get put together and then that's it. If you want to take it back apart, you can. Even things that have stickers over multiple parts, you can just take an X-Acto knife and just go right down there, or just take the multiple pieces up at the same time. You have plenty of options there. It does not end the world or anything, but I understand that just kind of from a philosophical perspective, some people are just completely against it, and that's completely understandable. That piece right there is fantastic. It was used in several ways in a couple of the cars. And you can see it used here again. It's kind of like a quarter conical version of a cheese slope piece. This just had a lot of really, really interesting and surprising pieces in it. And once again, uses those stickers that have a lot of shade suggested in them. I'm not the biggest fan of the choice of the olive green there to represent the darker areas, but then also you have these, like, that shouldn't be shaded, right? So this is actually part of the paint scheme that they're going for here. Like, it's part of rally stripes on there. I don't know, but then it doesn't continue on to the roof. That's a little bit weird. Like, here, this makes sense, but here, maybe not so much. Also, the yellow probably doesn't match quite as well as the gray, the better matching gray on the knot skyline piece. Looking at this on the inside, popping this off. Once again, exact same thing. They do a weird thing with the butterfly. The butterfly steering wheel is a choice. It's definitely a choice. This one, its driving compartment's a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact in there. The driver is a little bit farther forward, and just kind of, it's a weird look, right? I might be able to adjust them from there, but not the best. Just generally, I'd say these cars don't work all that great with minifigures. Again, they don't include minifigures, but just not the best. I do like how the rear window is done on this one with the 4-wide windscreen for that. And they do have special parts that they came up with to represent the side view mirrors. So those are trying to be semi-accurate. They actually come on a little runner, a little sprue. You just pop them off and then put them on, and they've got them color matched for each of the cars. But ultimately, this definitely looks like what it's supposed to be, and probably the best looking brick built late stage, late model Camaro that I personally have seen. Just the most accurate, even though it's not licensed, but it was also super enjoyable to put together, and just so many pieces. Like, these are all half height. ABS, not flexible, but ABS tiles to hold the whole base together. Just gives you that nice thin line right there too. Very cool. This one's obviously not a Mustang, totally not a late model Mustang at all. Probably previous model, I would say. This one's also fairly accurate, but I'm not a big fan of the nose on it. I think around the tail, maybe the shaping there is pretty decent, but mostly by virtue of just the center slope and then the stickers used for the tail lights. But then on the front, like that right there, the way that sticks out, doesn't have anything below. That's just a little bit awkward to me. Obviously, this should be a little bit more of a scoop kind of shape. Should be inset just a little bit, but just the way that turned out just isn't that great. I don't know. For some reason, it's very forward, but it almost feels more like a Mondeo or the second generation Taurus or something. I don't know. Something about it just doesn't quite strike me right. Again, lots of stickers, tons of stickers everywhere. All the details are done with stickers. And the blue here on this one actually isn't perfect, is it? I actually didn't notice that until I started angling around different ways in this lighting right here. That particularly right there, from that piece to there, you can see a fairly distinct difference. Now that lighter color is supposed to be a highlight. That's intentional. The grays match okay. These are all stickers through here. There's a little bit of variation between them. Again, if you don't like stickers, these sets are absolutely not for you at all. But I personally enjoyed putting them together. I did not find myself annoyed by the stickers. I'm already used to using stickers in sets like this, and lots of them. Once again, the butterfly steering wheel, and this one has similar seating to the not Camaro, in that the little guy, if you do put a little guy in there, he's kind of cramped up towards the front, and it's awkward, and his arms are up in the air. Is a little bit weird. Not the best. But the build of this was good. Probably my second most favored of the lot to build. Not the best looking by virtue of the nose. And then finally, this totally not Dom's Charger was enjoyable to put together with some different build techniques used for it, some different part usage. Unfortunately, I did mess up the sticker sheet for this, so you'll see some bubbles in there, and that's 100% my fault. You could actually see it when I was unboxing this whole order from Barware. I accidentally put the thing back into its bag because these did not come with boxes in order to save on shipping. I put it back, and then I just scrunched up the sticker sheet accidentally. Wasn't paying attention, so that's why the stickers here don't look as good. This one actually has clear backed stickers, so color match would not be as much of an issue with like black versus black. But again, because I crinkled the thing up and had to basically take a ball of stickers, it was like this, and just kind of peel them out, eventually get them apart. Yeah, they don't look that great. I loved doing the surround, the bezel for the grill here. That felt so good. That was so satisfying. And they use these tile pieces that are curved, right? They're also painted. And then on the sides here, this is a modified tile that is also a bracket. So it has a stud on the side, and that stud goes, I forget if it's up or down, but there's no offset there. This has a stud that hangs off the edge. If you're familiar with those parts, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of companies have used parts like that. Leading brand does not. The Danish brand, I should say, does not. And they're just so useful. It's so useful to have pieces that can do really interesting things in really small spaces. Again, overall, like this one doesn't have the most complex build, but I did enjoy just coming across some of the pieces, how some of it goes together. And the quality of the parts is very good here. The quality of the stickers is so-so. Even separating out the fact that I did mess them up a bit. It's nice to be able to attach things upside down like you do here. They actually use the Kobe style of little insert stud that's just a stud by itself that you can just place anywhere to basically turn an anti-stud into a stud. I also like their relatively subtle slopes and curve pieces. Like those are really useful. All that stuff in there is really, really useful. And I appreciate this little bit of suggestion of the belt coming off the front. It kind of has a shroud over the top of it, I suppose. And then underneath in here, there's your driving compartments. It's nice to have the color of tan. This, what's going on there? I don't know. Let me put the arms down, try to keep them. Yeah, there we go. So this one sits a little bit more like the Knot Skyline. A little bit more vertical, just down lower, not attached, but, works out well enough. A few scuffs on the windscreen. They did not have separate bags to hold those. I do like this angle right here as well. That's nice. Fire suppression back there. Tails look pretty good to me. Yeah, all in all, I'm satisfied with this. Here's just a few of the leftover spare parts just to give you a bit of a tease of some of the stuff that you can encounter when you go outside of just the Danish brand. Some really, really useful parts that enable techniques that just otherwise aren't possible without significant unnecessary complexity. And then for an idea of the sticker sheets, just how vast these are, how many individual elements you'll be expecting to peel off, and this was, I believe, the worst of them here. Yep, it's a lot. Again, wasn't a huge problem for me, but I'm not everybody. I do like Gundam builds and things where you have 10 times this many, and they're not even stickers, they're water slides, and all things relative. But for the price of $60 US shipped, that's $15 per car shipped. And it's a good amount of stuff. It was an enjoyable build experience for me, and these things, I think, look very, very good on display. I think they're right up there. I think that they are amongst the better looking cars as a series. And these aren't the only ones that they have. It's just the particular set that I personally chose to go with. I just wanted to try out. I don't think I had tried anything from this brand before, anything from Sembo. And the most enjoyable part of it for me, by far, was just discovering new parts that I'd literally never seen before. There are so many parts that the Danish brand doesn't have that you see on, in sets from just about every other company around the world that are really, really useful, and it's just such a joy to build with. But this company stepped it up even farther than that and just goes far beyond the world standard from just my own personal experience to date. So I'm very happy with that. It's just always nice to try something new. But again, the big downside here is that these do use a lot of stickers, and also the prints for those A-pillars are not the best. But I hope that this video was of interest to you. At least I hope that you learned something about these. I hope that helped you to form your own opinions about them, perhaps even if you have absolutely no interest in getting them. If you don't like the look of them, you don't like the idea of them or whatnot, it's not your thing, all good, but at least I hope that I've brought you some value. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting the channel by simply watching the videos, and especially folks who have signed up on Patreon or for the channel membership or use my affiliate links in the video description to help me to be able to keep going. Bye for now.